Well, friends, welcome back to our channel. It's the old Finn here, just a poor old fat man in a cruel world. I'm sorry to have been so long in between recordings. This is the first video I've done where I tried to work through to completion. I have attempted a couple of others, but I wasn't able to get through them. It's the first one that I'm seriously going to complete since my co-pilot, my best friend, my dog, Willow, passed away due to mitral heart valve failure. And I've been kind of broken by that. She was my constant companion. We were practically joined at the hip. She'd lie on a little dog bed behind me in the studio here while I was recording. Anyway, I got to carry on anyhow. So I thought I'd have a look at this game that I got an email reminder about from Steam. I had expressed an interest in it when it was in development. It's called Aces of Thunder. And it appears to be related to the War Thunder games. I'm not sure. But I fooled around with it a little bit. And I'm going to share some of the things I've discovered. First of all, if you want to adjust your controls and map them, or as they say in the game, bind them, that's what the professionals say, do it in flat screen mode. Do not try to do it in VR mode. It's almost impossible. And if you want to adjust axes, well, the good thing is that there's an axis available for elevator, for ailerons, for rudder, and enough axes available to cover your throttle, your prop, and your mix if you've got those on axes, and maybe one or two more things. I'm not sure what they would be. Brakes can be on an axis. So if you've got a hot ass setups with a lot of axes that you can use, that's awesome. If not, prop mix and I don't think throttle, but a lot of the others can be mapped to keystrokes. But again, it's best to do it in here, and I thought I'd just walk through it with you. This is the first screen you see when you fire it up. I selected the, when you fire up, I selected the Sopwith Camel the last time I was in, so that's what it shows here. That's another thing that attracted me to the game. I really love the World War I games because the flying is so much more simple and elemental, but still challenging. So pitch axes here, I've mapped it to my elevator, and all you have to do there is click on pitch axes, then click on the axes button, and now waiting for the axes, so I'm going to pull my joystick back and push it forward. Yes, I would like to apply this axes. Now, one thing that may happen to you, it happened to me, is that you'll get in the game and you'll find that it's backwards. You keep crashing because when you think you're raising the nose, you're actually lowering it, which is embarrassing on the runway. There is a way to flip that around without having to remap it. You just go in here and you find, where is it? Here, invert. Now, I think I've got it set correctly, so I'm going to leave invert on no. But if I find that it doesn't work, well, then I'll switch it. And before I go into VR, I'll test the axes. Don't go into VR without testing your axes and changing them first, because it's a real pain in the butt to switch back and forth. For one thing, in Steam, you have to select OpenXR to play in VR, which makes sense. And you have to just hit play Aces of Thunder in order to play in flat screen. Now, roll axes is the same. You just click on the axes and move your joystick left or right. Yaw axes is for the rudder pedals. The throttle, oh, I think I've got this one wrong. So I'm pretty sure last time I did this, it was backwards. So let's just see now. I'm going to hit invert. Yes. Make sure that I'm on the throttle axis. Yeah, there it is there. And I've inverted it. So, I mean, at worst, I have to pull it backwards. I've got all the guns mapped and things like that. I have trim aircraft marked, but I'm not using an axis for trim. If I had a spare one, I might, but it doesn't really matter. You know, the great thing about real life flying is you can tell when you're trimmed. You just set the aircraft at the attitude you want in real life, and then trim it until there's no pressure on the stick. In other words, you can let go of the stick and the plane continues at that attitude. There's no way of feeling that in the game, unfortunately, without a force feedback joystick, which is on my to-do list for down the road when I have a little bit more cash free and so on, because I think it would add a lot. Engine stop start, those are all the things you can do. Now here, propeller pitch, auto manual. I can't remember what I mapped that to. It doesn't really matter. And for turbocharger, I guess I'll probably set that to automatic for when I'm in the World War II game, because there's a lot of things you do in real life that you do so often and so regularly that it becomes an almost unconscious habit. Whereas in a flight sim, for me, it's never natural. So anyway, and I'm only here for the fun and the beer. And since I'm paying for the beer, there isn't much here. Yeah. Yeah, you didn't know you had a comedian here, did you? Okay, let's try flying. Would you like to apply changes? Yes, I would. Let's just do a test flight. Now, I'm just going to, excuse me, I'm going to yawn. One of the perils of aging is that you never seem to get enough sleep. People think when you're young, you think old people don't need as much sleep because they only sleep 6 hours a night or 5. But the fact is, you still need 8 hours. You just can't bloody get it. Oh well, I'm still a lucky man. Now we'll sit through this screen. The other thing I like about Aces of Thunder is look how quickly it loaded. I mean, in VR, it's just about as fast. So let's see if I've got the throttle set correctly. Upping the throttle. I don't have any sound, though. That's weird. Okay, hold on for a second. I am going to go into my sound settings. Well, I'm supposed to have sound here. Focusrite audio. Speakers, that's me. Well, I should have audio. I don't know why I don't. Is there something I haven't noticed in the game? Volume level is up enough on my mixer. So tell me, what's going on here? Have you guys noticed in Windows sometimes these days, the latest updates, I'm in Windows 10, when you move the mouse around, sometimes the screen disappears and you go to desktop. Then you have to wiggle the mouse to get it back. Boy, that's annoying. I'm not sure what's causing that. All right. Microphone. Well, I'm not sure why we don't have audio. That's crazy, man. Crazy. Let's see if it'll let me do this. No, that's sound auto. Okay, I did that already. Well, let's just fly without sound. I'll pretend it's a glider. Now, why isn't this working? What is going on here? Okay, hold on. Volume is 100%. Interface is okay. I've got everything set the way I like it. Extras? Okay, well, let's go to... I don't understand why I don't have audio. All right, let's leave the plane. No, let's just return to the hangar. Yes, I do want to. Oh, hang out with me and you'll find new ways to screw up, because there is no thing so simple that I can't mess it up. No mistake so simple that I can't make it. Nothing so stupid that I can't say it. What else can I tell you? Output device, headphones. Oh, it's got the wrong... See here, it's sending it to my Pimax crystal. And I want to set it to Focusrite. So, there we go. I have to set it not only in in Windows, but in the game. Well, that's cool that it gives you a chance to do that. Okay, again, it's one of those things that you don't want to try and do in VR, probably. I haven't yet figured out how to bring up a menu in VR, and if you do, I was hoping you could use the mouse in VR as a tool, like you can in Microsoft Flight Sim and in DCS, but you can't. They want you to use the VR hand controllers, and wow, those suck. Now, if you're a Flight Sim guy, flying with VR simulator joysticks is just the VR, the hand controllers. It's, you know, it's a shit circus, basically. It's not at all like real flight. So I don't like it. I don't use them. And if I have to use them in this game, then this game is going to be abandonware for me real fast. Which is okay. It didn't cost very much. Let's have a go here. Oh yeah, there we go. Ah, everything's mapped correctly so far. Okay, let's see if we can rotate. Okay, one thing I've noticed already is that there's no torque effect. You don't have to apply any rudder at all. Here I'm in a perfectly banked turn with no rudder. Now if I had a little more rudder, it helps. But this is not behaving like an airplane with a rotary engine. And the rotary engines weren't radial engines. They were not stationary cylinders. These old rotary engines, like the Larone or the Bentley, the cylinders rotate around the crankshaft. And you can imagine how much torque that produces. When you see one of these planes just revving its engine or blipping it on the ground, if it's like the Camel, it has a preset throttle. There is a throttle, but it's bloody difficult to use. So normally they just preset it and used a blip switch, and every time they blipped it, the wings would rock. Well, that's not happening here. I needed no rudder at all on takeoff. So I'm going to have to look into the sim and see if there are some settings I don't know about to make it more realistic. I don't need it to be as realistic as DCS. DCS is kind of the gold standard, the litmus test to which I compare all games. But in some ways, DCS is almost too difficult. I find it much more difficult than flying real airplanes, but that's, again, because I don't have the G-forces or the stick force that you get in real flight. Once you figure that out with DCS and you understand it, you can begin to fly it with great precision. And there are guys in DCS who just, you know, make me look stupid. I'll admit that's setting the bar pretty low, but even so. Now I'm trying to figure out what the heck these are crops. Red? Maybe it's summer fall in between them. When I was a kid growing up on a farm, we had cropland and summer fallow, and you alternated between crop and summer fallow, 1/3 to 2/3. But anyway, these are all narrow strips too. Yellow, red. Huh. I've seen bright blue crops in the prairies where I grew up, and of course gold crops like wheat or barley, and yellow crops like canola. But flax is blue and it's really pretty. Anyway, that's enough farm talk. I don't want anybody to think I'm a real farmer. I grew up working on the farm, but no, I'm not a real farmer. I'm just a nice guy playing the hits and feeling the shits. Alright, so here's the other test. How well does it roll? Because with this rotary engine on the Camel, the torque was so severe that if you wanted to roll left and turn left, you had to apply full left rudder. You had to apply a boot full of rudder. Yeah, you don't really need it here, and it rolls pretty quick. So let's just see how fast it rolls each way. 1, 1001, 1002, we're past 90, rolling right. 1001, 1002, we're past 90, rolling right. So it's, yeah, it's just not there. I'm going to have to check and see if the flight model is a little bit tunable to make it more interesting. However, I'll say this. I'm not sure it's that important in an entry-level game. I think the guns work. Let's find out. Oh, that all this sight is weird. Yeah. It seems to demagnify things. That's okay. I think one thing you'll find when I record in VR is in the recording I will see through the Aldous sight perfectly, but it'll always be off-center because the recording is only the right lens. Okay, let's try and do a power-on stall. This should be a really violent stall. No, it just falls out of it. Okay. It's easier to do in VR when I can look to the right or left easily. Let's try again. No, not very violent. And I'll bet starting at even a very low speed I can do a loop. In real life, the stall speed of the Camel was, according to a 1917 engineering manual I have for it, was 35 knots. Not miles per hour, but knots, which is, you know, 15% more than miles per hour. So 10 would be 3.5 more miles an hour. Add another half to that, and you probably got 5 mile an hour difference in stall speed, so 40 miles an hour, maybe a little more. All right, let's try a power off stall. This should be the gentle stall, although maybe nothing's gentle as long as those cylinders are rotating. Yeah, it just wants to stall. Oh, wait a minute, we got some rotation. There we go. Whoa! Ha-ha! We had a spin. Well, that's really interesting. That's a worse result than with power on. With power on, I would expect that it would snap into a spin and be quite a violent spin, hard to recover. I'll get a little bit more altitude so that I can have time to recover. We'll try that again. Nope. Flying is a lot easier for me in VR. I mean, flight sims are a reason to buy VR equipment, aren't they? It's just so much better in VR. Okay, let's see if I can do a power off stall. I want to try and make it spin. No, if I... Oh, it's spinning flat. That's weird. Okay, that's not... Yeah, that's not the kind of behavior I would expect. That's very odd. That's very odd. It just sort of fell straight down. I don't know. Like I say, in a kind of a beginner sim, I don't think it's that important. And if you get punished for a stall, power off stall, that's okay. Power off stalls are usually pretty simple to recover, but it's odd that the power off stall is more likely to lead to a spin than the power on one, but I don't know. I haven't done very much with it, so it could be a technique thing that I haven't figured out yet. But at this point, I have to say, I just don't think the flight modeling is on par with IL-2 or Flight Sim 24, or certainly not DCS. But like I say, for a beginner, is that important? If you want to get into combat air sims and you want to have a little bit of fun, do you need that kind of realism? Maybe not. All right, let's try it again. Okay, nose down to recover. Yeah, see, as soon as I put the nose down to recover, it doesn't respond as quickly as I would expect the nose down. Okay, that's enough of this in flat screen. Let's return to the hangar. And through the magic of my highly skilled editing, right, highly skilled, sure, we'll exit and we'll come back in VR. Stay with me, won't you? Okay, welcome back to the VR portion of this video. This will be a fairly short portion because I've explained just about everything I wanted to for the first video in the flat screen version. Now, what the heck? How can I need to get that mouse working. There must be a way. Where are you? Hey, little mousey. Oh, isn't that crazy? Oh, wait a minute. Just about had it. Yeah, this is a big problem with this game, finding the mouse. It's like, what the heck? Oh, there we are. Test flight. Yay. But you can see why I'm frustrated with the way the mouse is used in this game. It's almost unusable in VR. Ooh, and now I got to move over in the airplane. Hold on here. This is not good. Oh yeah, this is a hard place to fly from. I was sure I mapped a recenter. I wonder where I put it. Ah, there we are. I knew I had mapped a button, and it's essentially you do that when you're in flat screen. Map a button to recenter your view. Because when you put on your headset, everything changes. Now here, I can see the Aldous site perfectly, although I'm a little bit cross-eyed. Yeah, I have to get used to it. I would rather have just a ring and pin sight, but that's not an option, so as far as I can tell. But I mean, the sim looks pretty good. I mean, it's not Flight Sim 2024 good, but it's good. And I'll check the frame rate, but I think we're probably getting, I don't know, 29, 30 frames per second here. I'm running an Intel 9900 that's limited to 3.2 and can't be overclocked with an NVIDIA 5070 Ti. And you know, I'm just not sure that it's really any better than my 3090 was for this setup. I think with a different motherboard it might be. So let's see what a stall looks like in VR. I'll look to the right to make sure that I'm just try and keep the horizon where it is. Hold that, hold that, hold that, hold that. It's wanting to rotate on me. Weird. Okay, there's our stall. And then it just wants to fly out of it. Power on stalls in real aircraft can be quite violent. Even a Cessna 150 power on stall can be exciting. There's our stall. Okay. And we're not going to do a power off stall here because we already know that it's kind of odd. I wonder if there's a way to adjust those colors, because the crops look weird. I have never seen crops those color. Well, the gold I've seen, but the red and the yellow and the green and the blue or gray, whatever that is, I haven't seen before. Okay, so oh, they've got the gravity feed shut off to the engine. So if you go inverted for even a second or two, the engine will stop flying, stop running. Okay. Well, I think that's probably enough for today. What do you guys think, huh? Now, the throttle works like a throttle. In practice, the Camel did have a throttle, but on rotary engines, the throttle was something that you kind of set and forget, and then you used an engine blipper, just basically cut off gas to the engine for a moment, which you'd think would be a fire hazard, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to try and land this thing, and as you know, with me, every landing's an adventure. Oh, da 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 da. Da na 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 na, da na 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 na. Can he land the plane? No, I don't think he can. Let's see. It's settling, it's settling, it's settling. Nose up. Let it settle. Oh, I didn't even hear the wheels touch. That was pretty gentle. I didn't hear anything braking. I didn't hear anything bending. The brakes worked. Actually, the Camel didn't have brakes. It had a tail skid. You just dug that in. And all the runways in World War I were grass squares or rectangles. So you'd just take off into whichever way the wind was blowing, which is really good for a tail dragger, because crosswinds and tail draggers are immensely more difficult to handle than crosswinds are in tricycle gear. Anyway, thank you so much for... Oh, I just noticed something cool. When I looked at the altitude gauge, it gave me a digital readout at the bottom of the gauge that tells me I'm at 82 feet altitude above sea level. How cool is that? Oh, and then when I look at the engine RPM gauge, because I've got eye tracking on it, it knows when I'm looking at it, and it tells me that that's engine RPM. Good. So that's kind of cool. I mean, if you're using like an older VR headset and you want to play this game, it's nice to know if the instruments aren't perfectly clear. You can still see the dial, and it'll give you a digital readout in fairly large print to tell you what's going on. There's also a map there, which I didn't realize. Cool. Okay, well, that's it for this video, gang. This one's in memory of Willow the Wonderdog, and I hope you'll take a moment to offer a small prayer that she's cavorting in the fields of heaven with other dogs and having a great time and not missing me at all, because I miss her enough for both of us. And I'm glad you're here. Thank you.